tell you, just like we were just talking about, for those of you who just joined us, but we had recently just done a chat GPT and AI class for the agents. And, just one of the many reasons I've partnered with Navi for over 10 years is the innovation that they have, the data that they have, the resource that they have, that they just bring to the community. And selfishly, I just take advantage of all of it because it helps me with my business, but also it just helps all of my agents. So I always appreciate your partnership, Jackie. Thank you very much. And thanks for being on today. So yeah, today, as most of you know, I coach for the core training. It's been 10 years now. It'll be 10 years this year. And one of the things that we are known for is our high level of accountability, but it's through measurement. So you always have to measure the things that matter. And whether that's measuring your contacts or your dials or whatever, it starts with measuring your goals and where you want to be. And we start with, what's your income goal? And how much do you make per unit? And so how many units do you need to make that amount of money? And then how many leads do you need to elicit that many deals to get that much money to hit your goals? And then how many contacts or referral sources do you need to ultimately generate that many leads to equal that many closings? So you get the point. It's all in the math. And so today, because and I always say we're halfway through the year now, and which sounds weird that July is coming up in a week. But really the halfway mark for all of us was a couple months ago, because our sales cycle is roughly 90 to 120 days on average. Like sometimes the sales cycle is even longer for some of our clients. Sometimes it's someone calls us right now and says, hey, I'm looking to do a deal. How fast can you close? We'll close in 7 days and we could turn a deal really quick. But on average, it's about a 90-day sales cycle from making contact and finally getting them to do something with you or sit down at the table to list the house or to do a buyer consult. And then eventually it closes. And so that would have been, 90 days ago. I always say, show me your calendar and activity from 90 days ago, and I'll show you what your paychecks are going to look like over the next couple of months. And so right now it's really like, how do you want to finish out the year? Where are you at month to date, year to date for 23? How does that compare to last year of 22? How does it compare to what your goals were that you set in hopefully November and December of 22? And if we're not on track, it's okay. It's just, what are we going to do now to get on track moving forward for the rest of the year? And I always say, in contrast, if you didn't show up today and you didn't take a look at where you were at and you didn't make the adjustments, what would the rest of your year look like? Versus today, you're here, you can now step on the scale, see where you're at, see what things you need to do, where you now need to pivot or increase some actions to complete this year. And you're more likely to hit the goals because you showed up today. So I have a little slide deck I'll take you through. I'll tell you the biggest thing would be to make sure you have a piece of paper and a pen. Even if you're ballparking some of the numbers, you can go back, and I'll even send out some of the slides, the ones with the math on it, so that you can do this later as well and fill it in. This isn't rocket science what we're going to go over today. Some of the areas that you might learn, though, is where you're not even tracking and don't have access to. So something you may learn today is, what are the items that you need to be tracking? They call them KPIs, key performance indicators, like how many leads am I getting? Where are my referral sources? How many am I closing? What is my conversion? There's probably 5 or 6 that we're going to go over today that you'll want to be tracking on a regular basis, because that's how you can move the needle in your business. And it's not always to do more, it's just to hit the target that you want to hit. And when we get near the end of the year and we go into more of the business planning for next year, I go through a whole, what do you want? How much do you need to retire? How much a month do you need an income to retire? How many years away is that? How much money do you have right now? And what's the gap? How much do you need to bridge the gap? And then we go through the same formula I just shared a couple minutes ago, which is, how many units a month do you need to be netting that enough to then save that amount to hit your retirement goals? It's literally the math. So I will take you through this, the mid-year review. So I'll just cruise through. This just helps me to stay on track. But how do you know where you are in your business? Well, you're basically either on track or off track. And you only know if you are measuring. And so don't be upset or disappointed if you don't have your numbers. It's okay. You can always go back. And some of my students, we're especially when they start with our program, is they are having to go back and find some of the data, or they're just starting right now, moving forward to start tracking the data. And in about 90 days, we'll have good numbers to do a lot of predictions for you. So how do we even know? We got to review our numbers. So right now we're just going to get right into it. So pull out a piece of paper. How much did you close last year? Now, this can be any business. So this can be, how does Holly make revenue? This is for me. This is for Jackie. This is for your hairstylist. Like, how many haircuts did you do last year? How much money do you want to make? What was your net revenue? How much do you make per cut on average? Like, it's literally the math of any business. So for us, how many units did you do last year? I always like to talk volume because that's how we're paid. You're paid a percentage of the volume, not because of the units that you did. So when I have my luxury clients, it's a volume game, not a unit game. And when I have the agents that are playing in the 300 to 500 range, it's still a volume game, but they need to do more units to make as much as my luxury agents. And so how much did you make? How much did you net from all of that? Now you could just take whatever average percentage it is off of the volume. If you know what your percentage is, I have agents that have, some are, these are leads off of the team. I'm making 50%. I have, these are that I get 90%. I have some that are just 100%. So how much did you make? And again, you might have to go back and figure this out. And then this is the one that most people don't have, unless they're on a team and managing through a CRM. Or if you have a CRM, you can pull this data, but how many leads did you receive last year? And the reason we say this is because another slide is going to come up, but we want to figure out what is your actual closing percentage. So in real numbers, let's just say you had 50 leads and you ended up closing 10 transactions. That means you have a 20% lead to close ratio. It doesn't matter what happened with all the other leads. It just matters that you know that if you wanted to close 40, you would have to get you'd have to add more leads to the pile, right? So if I'm at, or let's just say I had 50 leads and closed 10, that's 20%. If I wanted to go from 10 to 20, I would need 100 leads. So then the question is, where are my referral sources coming from? And we'll get into some of these answers. But right now it's about just, what's the data say? So now the next question is, where are you year to date now? So usually it's easier to know what you did last year, but tracking now, sometimes we're not so, hey, I know how many units I've done through May of this year because June hasn't closed out yet. Or if you've closed a couple in June, you could add it to the pile. But where are you year to date for 23? Same questions. So how many units have you closed? Write that number down. What's the volume so far? And again, you can just write down these things and then put a blank that you're going to look these up. How much have you made year to date? That's always a good thing to know. How many leads have I gotten? And if you're not tracking it, then you'll need to put a note off to the side, start tracking my leads. And you can either put in a comment or shoot me an email and I can send you, it's a different class I teach, but I can send you a sheet that we use to track our leads. Or you could just start an Excel spreadsheet, or ultimately we teach a CRM class too, and you could just get a CRM and start putting your leads in there. And then where does the majority of your leads come from? And if you put referrals from where? Like, are they mostly from friends? Are they mostly from businesses? Are they mostly from past clients? Where are the referrals coming from? Maybe they're ads. I have an agent that gets a lot off of Yelp that pays $0. He just gets a lot of reviews and gets about 20% of his business off of Yelp. And he's one of the top 10% at like Remax nationwide, and he gets 20% of his business off of Yelp. But where's the rest coming from? So where's the business coming from? Now here's a more granular look. We've already done how many of you closed. You've already done how many leads. Figuring out the calculation is just dividing those two. But this goes into how many pre-approved buyers do you have? How many of you sat down at the table, had a buyer consult with them. They've committed to use you. They've gotten pre-approved, or they have proof of funds. They're paying cash. How many of those are sitting there? Because for me, those are like the next closest to the money. There's the lead that inquired that said, hey, Greg, I'm thinking about, buying a house, or, hey, Greg, can you, Allison sends me somebody and says, hey, can you talk to so-and-so? And I talk to them, but they haven't even pre-approved yet. So there's that level of person. But then there's the one that has gone through the application, pulled credit, given me documents. They're like, yeah, we want to purchase. We have one right now where their lease is up in December, but if they found something they wanted, they would move and break the lease. Cool. Like, that's a pre-approved person. That's the next closest to the money for you and for me. How many listings do you have? Again, next closest to the money. Hasn't closed yet, hasn't generated me cash, but it's a sign in the yard, and it's the next closest to the money. It's not the person that said, hey, I'm thinking about listing my house. Can you come give me a listing presentation? It is the person that literally has signed the agreement and is going to go when someone makes an offer on their house. And then the last one is how many people are in your database. And this will come, again, this goes back to CRM and having this at your fingertips, because that for me is a great place to be marketing, because they already know, like, and trust you. How many people are in the database? And we'll get into some of the marketing strategies there. So when you look at what we're talking about here, the next question in regards to the 23 numbers, so year to date now, is, are you on track? Like, are you on track with what you thought? Meaning, if you've closed 5, but your goal is 20, we're not on track. Yet typically you'll have more momentum as we move into the fall and winter months, right? Because here I say winter, but you'll have a lot of closings typically happen in that September, October, November. December usually starts to slide off. It's more that prospecting time that leads to the slower January, February, March. And this beginning of the year was a lot slower than, I've been doing this for 18 years, and other than 08, 09, that was the slowest January, February that I've seen a lot of activity, and that was very market and rate driven. But I think that with that being pent up, you'll see more activity near the end of the year, depending on what happens with the Fed and such. So it's not atypical right now to be off track. It's just, what am I going to do to get back on track? And I like simplification. Right? There's literally 2 reasons that we're off track. We either have the wrong plan, or we're not executing the plan. Like, we just have the wrong activity that we're doing, or we're not doing the activity. And it's not doing the right activity, because that would go back to having the wrong plan. So you have 2 options. If those are the 2 reasons, then the 2 options are, I need to change my plan or change my execution. And maybe there's something I need to add into my plan. Maybe there's something I need to remove from the plan. Maybe I need to take a look at my daily activities in regards to the execution. I had a phone call today with someone like, man, I just wish I could get some of these things to the finish line. I said, well, you either pick one that you're going to really focus on, or pick 3 or 4 that you're removing from your list, so you're only focused on 2 or 3 things. Because when you have 7 things to do, 7 projects, none of them just get done. So it's pick the highest priority that will yield you the biggest outcome, and do that one first and take it to the finish line. Ignore the other things, because when that thing gets knocked off, you can then go on to the next one. This kind of goes into when we talk about business planning in general. All we're doing right now is kind of re-business planning for the rest of the year. What is the next, I like to work in sprints. What's the next 90 days look like that will set up the rest of your year? So I look at, most of our problems are all around leads. Because if you're getting enough leads, and you understand that your follow-up and conversion needs to be good, and your conversion rate of what does it take in regards to leads to get you to your closing goal, then it's literally the lead problem. So it's either 1, I'm struggling for leads, 2, I'm not really converting them very well, or 3, I have too many. And that kind of goes into next week's class with Jackie and Lance talking about team building. I need to add more people to my team, and it could be virtually, or it could be in person, like in office, in the greater Phoenix area, that I'm hiring somebody to help me manage the leads. Because if I have too many leads to even follow up on that I'm not converting them, those clients are going to go elsewhere to find somebody else. So I might as well invest in growing my team to help manage those leads. And there's ways that Lance will describe how to bring that on. And there's some that's like a zero cost model for you, and it's only a win-win. But again, we go back to these problems. So when we say they're struggling for leads, am I doing the right activity to bring in these leads? Am I prioritizing prospecting? A lot of times we can get caught in the weeds of something's going on with this loan or this closing or this inspection, this appraisal, whatever. And the day goes by and we didn't even pick up the phone to outbound prospect. And that could be calling through my database. That could be calling old leads. That could be door knocking. That could be hosting an open house. But there was literally zero prospecting. And our number one job duty is to prospect. So typically when I find people are struggling with leads, it's because they're not prospecting enough and they're not prioritizing the prospecting. Now, when you're not converting the leads, now, first of all, you need to understand what is the average conversion of the leads that you're getting, because you don't want to set some number of, I should be converting at 70% when it's an internet lead from realtor.com or OpCity or something. That's like unrealistic. It should be, I'd say less than 10% conversion on those ones, and 10's really high. Whereas if it's your own, like a referral from a client, those are like 70%. So those people should be calling you back. Those people should be at least responding to your text messages. That conversion's a lot higher. And when I send you the lead tracker form, and I'll just send it out, Holly, if you remind me, you put where the leads are coming from, and then how they're converting. And so you can measure your own conversion. And I go into more detail during our lead conversion follow-up class. And then if it's too many without the team, it's literally just having, I'm not having enough time to do the follow-up. I have so much stuff happening that it just feels like the wheels are falling off the bus of your business. And that's operating in too much chaos to where it's costing me money to have all these leads and follow-ups that I'm not handling. You're actually losing business. And, right now I'm saying we're in like the nurture game, because right now, because you have affordability issue, you have rates high, you have limited inventory, there's more people on the fence than ever. And all those people are going to move into the marketplace as rates continue to fall. And when that happens, demand's going to be super high. And when they do to make the decision to finally move into the marketplace, they're going to reach out to somebody. And the only way to ensure that it's you and it's me is playing the nurture game. And that's being pleasantly persistent with the right messaging, with the right frequency. So my client that's leases up in December, I don't want to follow up with them in November, because they just said, if something comes up, I'm going to move. So I need to be actively looking for stuff for them, actively communicating with them, because ultimately they've already made their mind that they would move if something popped up. So they're just waiting for someone to bring them something. And if I'm not the one bringing it to them, they might go find someone who is. And so that random call or text message that they get or reply to, or the pop-up ad that they get, that they end up inquiring about, that agent calls and says, hey, I actually specialize in off-market property. Now, all of you can specialize in off-market property, but the fact that that agent said it to that person, they might go, oh, I'm willing to talk to you. I'm willing to meet with you. And now you just lost the person. So what does your nurture game look like? And that's where lead conversion comes in to be very important. So we're going to talk about some of these solutions. My big thing is understanding how we keep it simple, is understanding that our job, my job, your job, Jackie's job, Holly's job, is to prospect all the time. And what does that mean? That means, like, when I'm taking someone's application this morning, I'm also asking them, do you know anybody else that's looking to purchase a home like you? I know you've been talking about this for a while, probably with your friends and family. Do you know anybody else that's looking to buy a house right now? And they go, oh my gosh, my coworker, right? Like, I'm always asking. Or when I'm walking through the hallway of our new building, I'm looking for people to talk to. Hey, how you doing? I'm new to the building. Who are you? Wow, what do you do? Awesome. Or the guy that I talked to yesterday at the car wash. Hey man, where do you live? Oh, I live a couple miles away. That's awesome. Do you rent or do you own? Like I'm always prospecting. Number two is that you manage, lead, and trade a team. Now, in the beginning, it's me. I'm the team. Now, eventually you get some sort of a transaction coordinator because you need someone who's handling the minutia, the inspection, the sign in the yard, the paperwork, the zip forms. Like I just need someone else doing that because that doesn't make me any money after I've already sold the client to work with me, put him under contract, had him sign the listing agreement. Like I'm done. I can have a transaction coordinator do all the minutia stuff, and I can just be a high level little touches to follow it to the finish line. I need to go back to number one, which is prospect for more people to put them on the little conveyor belt. And then the final, which is almost the most important, but it doesn't exist unless you have the money coming in, is having a P&L for your business and a personal budget. Because again, if I take people and I help them to double and triple their income, yet they triple and quadruple their spending, it's all for nothing. They'll get a little reward that says top 10% at this company, number one in the office this month. That's great. But if it's not in your bank account, it doesn't matter because you got nowhere to retire to. So we got to prospect, we got to manage our teams, and we got to manage our money. So something that I emphasize is to have some sort of a target monthly that you're going for. And that means that, like, let's just say you wanted to make 100 grand. Well, that's roughly about $8,300 a month. So what does that look like for you in regards to closings? How much do you make per deal? How many deals do I need a month? Now, that's a pretty low number. So let's just say it's 300 grand. So at 300 grand, I need about 25 grand a month. So what type of closing do I need? Is that a $500,000 house? Like how many $500,000 homes do I need? And is it every other month? Is it every month? How many units? How much volume is that I need to hit my dashboard? So I would say you should run into what's your income goal? What's your savings goal? Now, again, this goes back to what I talked about before is how much do I need to retire? How much do I need? How much time do I have? How much do I need to make every month to hit that number? And I have a whole calculation that'll help you with compounding interest and all that stuff if we invest it properly. But it's to say that I need these targets. I need a target for how much do I want to make and save every single month. How many units does that mean? How many leads? So I need a lead goal and a closing goal for every month that will elicit it'll make sure I'm on track for the yearly goal and then I'm not too far off. Now, one of the important things, like Jackie mentioned earlier, is did your partners just help you get there quicker? The agents that work with me will hit their goals quicker than if they work with any other lender. The agents that work with Jackie and Navi will hit their goals quicker because you have a partner that's vested in your interest of growth, your interest of, hey, what do you need? Who do you need an introduction to that will help you move the needle? What is one frustration you're having in your business? And then either I'll help you or I'll have somebody who's really good at that help you solve that problem. Because if you're having a lead conversion problem and I had the same amount of leads that you are getting now, yet you converted more of them for the rest of the year at a higher percentage, that would mean I don't need to get any more new business. I just need to convert the business I already have. So what if I introduce you to someone or I personally helped you to increase your conversion? That would get you to your goals quicker. Now, systems and processes. So I'll go through this. These are all classes that I teach, but you want to make sure that you have processes in place. And I've talked to Allison about this. She's been with me for a long time. It's literally building your own playbook, right? What does your, when I say prospecting tracking, like what does that look like for you? When I teach the class, it's the greatness tracker. It's how many people have you seen this week? How many buyer appointments did you have? How many listing appointments did you have? How many phone calls did you make where you actually talked to somebody? How many calls did you make? I had a team text me yesterday. I'll show you this image. Is pretty crazy. This guy's killing it. I was like real stuff, right? So this was total calls month to date. This is a different Allison. So this is Oleg is at 580 calls made month to date. Allison is 444. Diane is 213. Maria is 164. Mirella is 314. Nelia, who's part-time, is 81. Oleg is 580 and Taylor is 212. So he texted me this image yesterday just to show me his month-to-date numbers of how many dials they're making. And because he's tracking his prospecting, this kid's generating a monster amount of leads, which then leads to the second part is, how are you tracking your leads? CRM is the best. Minimum is an Excel spreadsheet. You got to put them somewhere, because if they're just on sticky notes or written on yellow pads or something, it's going to get lost. I like the CRM because there's automated little follow-ups that can be happening in the background, with you also getting the reminder of, who do I need to call? When did I last talk to them? What's all their contact info? Can I pick up from the last part where I had the conversation about them going away somewhere for the summer? It's way easier when it's a CRM, but if you don't have one, get in Excel now and then work towards, and Jackie has a great CRM class they teach. They can show you the resources for utilizing a CRM and which ones they, I don't say endorse, but that most of the agents are using that are successful and simple. Team meeting every day. Look, if it's just me, I'm meeting with myself. What's my to-do list? What's my calendar look like? And then I go right into what's my prospecting activity. That's it. If it's the team, I'm going over with my TC. Hey, what's happening? What closings do I have coming up? What do I need to know? Who do I need to call? Great. If there's more people on the team, like they're doing outbound prospecting or they're doing like showings for you, those are all things that are coming up in the team meeting. My team meetings are like less than 15 minutes unless we're doing a training of some sort. The time block calendar, I mean, that's like what I have here. It's color coded, it's blocked all day. There's a lot of green on mine because I do a lot of prospecting, but I also have a team that supports me with the other stuff. Monthly P&L, monthly personal budget. If you have a partner, significant other, married, definitely be doing the budget with the partner. And then the last is lead follow-up system and some sort of a CRM. And those kind of blend into the top two, but these are important to remember as you set up your business for the rest of the year. And I always think like, man, if you did these things and really worked on setting it up over the course of the next few months, what's the rest of the year look like? But then what does 2024 look like? What will 24 look like if I didn't do any of this stuff, didn't put any systems in place? And what will it look like when you put systems in place? This putting structure is where it's the quote, discipline equals freedom. The discipline of having all these things in place gives you a lot of freedom. Now, marketing plan. This is a great one to sit down and have a meeting with Holly and Jackie on. I love marketing. I think marketing is actually senior to selling, because once you get really good at sales, it's only a game of marketing to get people in to your atmosphere so you can then take them through your sales cycle. But marketing had to happen first. So do you have a written plan? Do you have at least 3 strategies? Meaning you're getting it from your database, you're getting it from your sphere, you're getting it from businesses, attorneys. Where is the business coming from? Do you have a database marketing plan? Like, how are you hammering your database? And I have another slide on that too. Do you have all these activities in your calendar? Like in my calendar for Thursday says shoot videos. And some of you already come into my office. We have a studio in here. My video guy comes here every Thursday. He'll do videos with you. He does videos for me. So I'll sit there and do 6, 7, 10 videos at a time, just best them out. And then we send them to the person. They do all the stuff and the posting, but it's in my calendar to be done. I have a thing on Friday where it says Google, YouTube, and Yelp where I post stuff. It makes me do it every week, because if it's not in my calendar, I'm not going to do it. And then do you need more marketing strategies? Like I just listed off a bunch of stuff. We talked about we're going to do a class for Canva and using AI for Canva. That'll give you more stuff to do. So that'll add to your marketing strategy. Let's talk about the database. So why is kind of a rhetorical question because you already know, but this is a stat that always just blows me away. And I always like to bring it up to everybody, the NAR study that came out, and they do this every year. So every year the stat doesn't even change, which blows me away even more, that 89% of people said, yeah, I'll use my realtor again. Like literally they answered the survey. Yes, I'll use them. And then only 12% end up using them. Well, they didn't lie on the survey because there's no reason to. It's because they literally don't remember. I remember calling a guy, it was October, And I said, oh, hey, how's everything with the house? Cool, that's great. And I said, yeah, I'm actually looking for some information, about my neighborhood. And, have I gotten appreciation? I said, bro, it's been like 3 months. He's like, yeah. I said, well, why don't you call your agent? He goes, can you remind me who it was? I'm like, do you remember their name? He goes, no. I said, do you remember the brokerage? He goes, no. Do you remember the color of the sign? No. The card? No. I go, dude, it's been 3 months. You already forgot your agent. Like the agent's already not following up. It's only been 90 days. That person's gone. Now, obviously, I'm calling my agent, telling them they got to call that person and get re-engaged, get them into HomeBot, But that's a problem. Like it's someone who, like even for me right now, like I know that every loan I'm closing right now, I'm refinancing next year. So if I'm not in front of those people, Rocket is. Somebody else is, Lending Tree is, like someone else is in front of them. So I got to make sure like we're sending out our 4th of July postcard to everyone, snail mail in the mailbox, goes out every single month. Okay. So the biggest thing for me to understand though, is this calculation that roughly they say 10 to 15% of your database moves on an annual basis. That means it's about every 7 to 10 years they're moving. Okay. So if you take your calculation, if your database is 250, okay, and this is everybody, this isn't just your database. This is everybody, every homeowner, that of the 250, they're going to make a move, buy or sell. So that means if you have 250, there's roughly 25 that are going to do something this year. No matter what the market's doing, they're going to do something because this is just a law of averages. So if I take that, and now this is a bigger one. So this is one where you start thinking like big numbers, right? If they say that every person is connected to 100 to 150 people, then that's not through social media. That just means that they're connected to 100 to 100. That means friends and family and coworkers. How many people do you have that work at the bank you work at your hair salon, at the personal training studio? How many friends do you have? You just graduated college, you got some college buddies, like that kind of stuff. If you really extrapolated this out of 250 people times 150, it's 37,000 people. That means there's over 3,000 that are making a move this year. That's crazy. My big thing is this one, because 25 is a good number. If I'm working off of this database right here. And so I always think, what's the formula? Like, how do you stay in touch with the database? And it's very easy. I have a long class on this, but it's that you mail, call, visit, and email. So you're mailing your database, just like I like postcards because they're cheap. Keeps me top of mind. They literally open it up, they grab it, they look at it, they go, oh, Greg still wears glasses and he's still bald and he's still in the mortgage business. And then they throw it in the trash. You call them. Hey, happy birthday. Hey, happy house anniversary. Just checking on you. Hey, we're coming up on monsoon season. I'm calling on my clients to see if they need a landscape referral or a pool person. You need anything? No? Okay. That's it. Visit. I like the movie theaters. You could do something in the park. If you want something super cheap, buy like a grill or something like that, and just do a client giveaway, and then have them come to the office to pick it up. You got to do something where everyone's kind of gathering. I do the pie giveaway. I do the movie event. I just like doing stuff where people get together, but I always just like inviting people to stuff. I can't invite them all. Like they can't all come, but they all get invited. And the power's in the invite that people just feel included. And then the last is emails. You're sending them video emails. You're giving them market up. Like people want to know about the market and they want to hear it from you. I don't want them getting their stuff from the news and the media, who, by the way, people run ads behind. I want them getting the information from me because I know more about the market than the news does, because the news is more fear-based. The other thing is email would be HomeBot. I brought it up before. It's a great program. It allows them to see that their asset is a financial thing, meaning it's a financial statement for their house. It's no different than getting their 401k statement or their Schwab statement. They need to understand that it's a financial statement for their biggest asset. It'd be weird if I had a Merrill Lynch account and my guy never sent me a statement, not electronically, not by paper, like nothing. If I never saw anything about my 401k, that would just be weird. I think it's weird that you only get a bill for your house. You need to get something electronically that says this is the value. This is where it's at. This is what's going on in your neighborhood. And it should come from you. And so that's part of the email. So again, I can give you more information on that, but that's something to have. If you're not doing this, this would be in my plan to add for second half of 23. calling my entire database, making sure they're uploaded into HomeBot, setting up some sort of a client hangout get together, and setting up some sort of a call thing that's in my calendar. Now, I go through this, and this is something where real quick, you could just break out a pen. I want you to score yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 right now in all of these areas. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you feel your business is right now? You think it's a 3, you think it's a 5, you think it's a 10. I don't think anyone thinks there's a 10 right now. Family, how do you think you're showing up with the family? Scale of 1 to 10. Are you coming home mad, stressed? Are you on your phone at home, disconnected from the spouse? Where are you at? Or, oh my gosh, I've never been more in love. We're traveling. It's fun. We're good. Okay. I always say you can't get a 10 anyway. So that would be like a 9. Financially, how do you feel financially? Feel like financially free? You're okay. I know the market's down. I know business might be down, but you're okay because you've saved up a bunch. You've got, months of reserves stacked up. You're feeling good. 1 to 10, where do you at spiritually, energetically? Like you feel grounded or you feel super stressed out? You feel like you're like 2 steps away from, a panic attack, or you feel grounded and okay. Health-wise, again, like you're about to have a heart attack, or you feel like you're in good shape. I wake up refreshed. I go to sleep. I sleep soundly. I work out. I'm not winded walking up the stairs. Like, how's your health? Because again, I can double your income and make you a ton of money. But if you die in 5 years, it does me no good. It actually does you no good. It does me no good too, because I want to see you live to enjoy your money. How's the love life? How's your communication? And then lastly, friends. Look, it's always good to, you don't do this every day, but at least twice a year, you should be saying, where am I at? What do I need to improve? Man, I haven't been reaching out to my friends because I've been so absorbed in the business. I'm going to make a list of the friends I need to reach out to. I'm going to call them. Why? Because it'll make you feel good. And then when you feel good in your friend life, it's going to make you perform better in all the other areas. This whole thing, we call it the wheel of life. I do it with everyone. Allison did this with me last year too. I think this is an important one, because if I'm out of balance somewhere, it's going to lead to out of balance somewhere else. When things aren't going good at home, you bring it to the office. When things aren't going good at the office, you bring it home. It's never good. So if you make little small incremental gains in each of the area, they all feed each other, and they will all become more balanced and plump. Okay. So when we think about it, we already talked about the leads. Is it that I need more? Is it that I'm not converting well? Or is it that I'm just in chaos? I have too many leads and I need more people. So some of the things, first of all, we want to know the numbers. What we're tracking right now, like I want to know, how many leads am I getting? How many do you have right now this week? How many do you need to have daily, weekly, monthly? Are you on track? Like if you need 10 leads a month, then you need to have 2 to 3 per week to be on track to hit your goal. What I don't want is at the end of every month, I'm like, I'm not hitting my 10. I didn't hit my 10. Or worse, you look up at the end of the year and you're like, man, I just didn't make the money I was supposed to make. Well, I'll work harder in 24. What does that even look like? Versus you're looking down, you're like, all right, well, I don't have enough leads. I need to go get more referral sources. Let me call Greg and run through some ideas of referral sources I can do. Great. Or, man, I'm getting the leads. I'm just not getting the closings. Let me call Greg and see how I can better my conversion. Commit to a prospecting tracker. I'll tell you, some of you know my story. I was a personal trainer. I ran a martial arts gym before the mortgage industry. And the number one way that I got my clients to get results and refer me people and keep renewing packages was I gave them a blank notebook when I met them. Like just a blank little book that they had to write down what they were doing when they weren't with me. How much did you sleep? How much did you work out? What did you eat while we weren't together? And I would find out what they were doing. And then I would make small little tweaks that were sustainable over time. They would get massive results, more results than any other trainer at the gym. And then what did they do? They signed the check to buy another $2,000 package with me, and they would refer their friends and family. It was like, it just was so simple. But because I made them track everything, it's no different than my students. How many calls did you make? How many people did you see? How many notes did you do? Did you send your videos this week? It's literally it's simple to say, it's not simple to do. But when they started implementing that tracking, and it's hard. Allison, is it hard to do the tracker? See, it's hard. All right, committing to power hour daily. No matter what you have going on in your life, you can say, I'll do that in 30 minutes and I can make a half hour of phone calls. And then later on, I can make another half hour and there's an hour. I can block out time to say, I'm going to reach out to 5 people I otherwise wasn't going to today. I need to commit to every day there is prospecting green time in my calendar. Now, I like themes in my power hour lists, meaning, you know, I'm going to call realtors on Monday and I have a list that I'm going to call. I'm going to, like today's Tuesday update, I have a list of deals that we have going on and I make my calls to the buyer's agent, buyer's listing agent. On Wednesdays, I'm calling my pre-approvals. Like I have a whole theme day thing for realtors that I give away to. And that you have a theme and a list of things makes it a lot easier. So when it pops up in the calendar and says Tuesday updates, you go, cool. And you grab your list and you grab your phone and you start making your calls. It's that simple. What makes it hard is it pops up in the calendar and you go, oh, wait, I got to go into my thing and look up my deals. I got to call so-and-so to find out what's going on with that deal. And I'm disorganized. I don't have a list. I don't have everything dialed in. When it's organized and right there, I can execute on it. It's no different than what we talked about before is you might have the wrong plan or you might not be executing. Let's make it easy to execute. Let's create the environment within your business to make it easier to execute and remove obstacles. I always find like the leader needs to remove obstacles so that the team can get to the vision even quicker. And then lastly is creating that marketing plan and having at least 3 revenue streams, at least 3: farming, open houses, database, business people, whatever it is. These are the 2 forms I was talking about before, tracking my prospecting and tracking my leads. Simple as that. And I can send those forms out too. Ideas. So just some ideas of stuff, right? Right now, again, because it's the nurture game, and I had talked to, I don't see him on here, a team about doing first-time home buyer seminars. And you could do them on Zoom. I don't even have to leave my house. I could do it in my office. I could do it at my house and just say, hey, we're going to do a first-time homebuyer seminar. And that can be for people that are, you know, new leads that are just interested, raising their hand. That can be for existing leads that I'm just nurturing. That could be for my people that are actually searching for homes right now. But I'm staying in front of them with a pleasant message of value. Hey, what's going on in today's market? Let's talk about what it is to buy a house right now in today's market. Here's what we're seeing on offers right now. Here's what we've seen in appreciation right now. Here's the process. Here's what goes into a home inspection. Here's what title and escrow means. Like all that stuff could be in there. Advertising and farming, for sale by owners, expires. No, look, you might be like, bleh, I'm not calling FSBOs. Bleh, I'm not calling. That's fine. These are just ideas of stuff to do in today's market that might be part of that marketing strategy that you're missing. Because if you're only just, you know, crossing your fingers and just waiting for the phone to ring, it's a failing formula. So it's picking like, what do I want to do? Do you want to farm an area? Do you want to work with business owners? Do you want to work with real estate attorneys? I have a guy that works with estate attorneys. He has 10 estate attorneys that regularly refer him business. This is like, I call and say, hey, my parents passed away and I'm going to sell the house. And do you have a realtor for me? And the estate attorney goes, yeah, call this guy. Like it's literally like, I say it's that easy. He's built the relationships. He's built the trust. He does advertising with them. He's a resource for them. He's a resource where he doesn't even get paid on stuff, but the majority he's getting paid on because he's getting referrals from them. So let's go into conversion. So why are they not converting? For me, it's mostly the follow-up, but not having a plan of follow-up. So not tracking your leads, Excel or CRM, not using a CRM because that is the #1 way to keep them nurtured. The follow-up is just not there. Having a systemized playbook of your follow-up. What happens on day 1? What happens on day 2? What happens on day 5? What happens on day 7? Like what is the journey that they say in marketing? What is the journey of the client? Your sales skills. What are you saying on the phone? What is your voicemail? Is your voicemail like, hey, it's Greg with Nova. I hear you want to buy a house. Call me so I can pull your credit. That would not be a good message for follow-up. right? So what does it look like? What is your sense of urgency in the message? What is your tonality in the message? Are you focused on short-term success versus long-term? Again, the nurture game is like farming is like on average 18 months to get a deal. So if you don't realize that going into it, you're going to get frustrated in 2 months when you haven't gotten a deal from it. When you think of them as leads rather than humans, when you think of them transactionally as just leads, that's one way to put it. That's very transactional. That's very commodity, price driven, commission driven, rate driven. I think of them as humans that need the information that you have to provide. And then throwing money at the problem is, well, I'm short of leads, so let me just sign up for realtor.com and OpCity and whatever, versus exhausting all other options before. Now let's talk about the conversion. So the things that go into increasing your conversion is literally math. Speed to lead. How tenacious are you of getting back to the leads? What is that follow-up process? What is your scripting like? I think having a strict follow-up plan is the secret to your increasing your rate of conversion. And notice you want to move them from the information zone to influence zone. What does that mean? That means that in the beginning, most people will go online or are just seeking information. And that's where you want to come in, and that's where you're going to meet them. Ultimately, you need to move them into where you're influencing them in a moral and ethical way to make a decision. And whether the decision is, hey, you got to wait, you don't qualify, you don't have anything, whatever, or it's, hey, I think now's the right time because of this, this, and this, and I'm influencing them through information, but they can't stay in the information zone because that has them going to other places to seek information, and you want to lock them down. You want to stay with you, so they're only searching property with you. They're only thinking about selling with you. And how do you do that? And that's where that increase in conversion comes from, because you're doing stuff like that. Last couple of slides. The important features of a CRM. So now again, I'll endorse CRMs that I hear people are using, like Follow Up Boss is simple. I have another agent's team that uses Chime. They like that one. Lion's Desk is another good one. The bigger ones that are more expensive, like Boomtown, Commissions Inc., those are very team oriented. Those are the main ones that pop into my mind. And again, ours are different. There's some specific for mortgages or specific real estate. Ultimately, though, I say the best CRM is the one that's simple to use, simple to input your information, simple to see your stuff, easy to sort. So for me, I can put most recent 30 days of leads. And then in there, it can say, who are we attempting to contact but haven't done an application with, or who have we done an application with but hasn't responded since with their documents. So I can have specific dispositions for those leads as to what they're all doing, so that they can track your leads, but also schedule your follow-up tasks, like follow up in 3 days with that person. That you can bulk send emails, text messages, syncs with your calendar that way, or better yet, it has an app so you can go in and see your alerts. So you're more on the road than I am, so you need to be able to see on your phone that it's such and such birthday, or this person you told you that you were going to call today, and you can't miss the call because that's a unkept promise that can lose you trust really quickly. Having those reminders, like house anniversaries. If you call me in November on the anniversary that I closed on my house just to check in on me, that's a solid phone call. Hey, Greg, it's November. Hey, it's been 6 years since you moved into that house. Hope everything's good. I don't think you're moving anytime soon. It's a great spot. Your house is appreciated this much money. Hey, give me a call back though. I had a couple things I wanted to go over with you. Cool. Or, hey, Greg, I'm just checking in. Hey, by the way, happy house anniversary. It's been 6 years. Hey, by the way, it's November now. Hey, let me know. I have a great deal with a guy. I get a discount now. He'd come to your house and he'll put all the lights up. He strings them super straight. I know your wife, Katie, likes the white ones where the bulbs are like super straight down on every edge. Like, I got the guy. He'll give you a huge discount. Hey, give me a call. Look forward to catching up. Great. I'm calling that guy back. So that's a great touch to my database. Now, look, I might not sell my house this year. Maybe I will next year. But when I do, I'm calling that guy back because he keeps calling me every year to remind me that it's my house anniversary, to ask me if I need anything, to tell me he's got a deal with somebody. Right now is a great time that I'm calling my past client, telling them if they need a landscaper or if they need something with the pool, because the pool's getting super dirty with all the wind and we got monsoons coming up. Now, whether they take me up on it or not, 2 months ago, I was calling them, offering my AC guy to do a tune-up because he just tuned mine up. I said, hey, I got a great deal with Chris, Lacombe AC. He'll come over and take great care of you. He just left my house last week. My wife's super happy. He did a couple things. I know my stuff's going to run for the rest of the season. It's just a great message to leave, but I'm going through my CRM to do it. And then last, you get the email drip campaigns. Usually they're already built out. You know, in the class that Jackie did 2 weeks ago, when we talked about the AI, like revamping those emails to make sure they're current in today's market, that they're less wordy, that they're more just concise, bullet pointed, that the subject lines are compelling, that someone's going to open it. It's all about the open rate. And then we're texting or drip texting on the database, just like today, like Holly texts everybody and you start seeing people pop on. Text is more open than much higher open rate than emails, but you don't not do emails, you do both. So your CRM must do both as well. All right, so the last thing, homework. It wouldn't be a coaching class without some homework. So the big thing is, you know, number one is to make sure you're tracking all the stuff we just talked about. Now, I'll send out the slides from the 2022, 2023, so that you know what you should be tracking moving forward if you haven't been tracking the stuff. Write down what are 2 or 3 things that you want to implement. Maybe it's maybe it's to do a marketing consult with myself, Holly, and Jackie. The 3 of us are masterminds at figuring out where's the next thing for you in your business, because not everyone's the same. In your business, what's that next funnel or channel look like for you? What are 5 to 10 things that you want to complete by the end of the year? Maybe number 1 is your own playbook for your business. Number 2 would be your lead follow-up. Number 3 would be your database marketing, having that mail, call, visit, email done for you, that you're sending out a postcard. Now, look, if monthly is too expensive, send it quarterly. If quarterly, I got something from my realtor that did my house, that would keep her top of mind with me. If I get nothing, then she's not top of mind. If I get no mail, no email, no call, no invite to Diamondbacks game, to something in the park, to a movie event that I can't even go to, but no invite at all, is that agent even top of mind with me? No. But if I got any one of those things, she's now bumped into being top of mind for a little while. And the law of diminishing intent says it's only a little while and it goes away. That's why my postcards go out monthly. Now, I've just learned this over a long period of time that the payoff's huge. In the beginning, you can start quarterly. Phone calls are free. Leave a voicemail. Hey, it's Allison. Been a while since we connected. Wanted to catch up. Hope everything's good with the house. I got something to go over with you. Call me. It's got to be something nice and compelling and not salesy that you leave as a powerful voicemail. Number 3, daily disciplines. Like, I will not leave the office without 1 hour of dedicated green time that I'm prospecting to hit my goals. Like, write that down and put a sticky note on your laptop or your computer or by your desk. I'm not leaving without 1 hour. Now, the 1 hour might be I'm going to write handwritten notes for 1 hour. The 1 hour might be I'm going to host an open house. The 1 hour might be I'm going to drive to new builds in the area around my house. It's going to be different every day, but it's at least 1 hour of prospecting time. And what are 2 new things that you need to do? And maybe it's daily. Like, you know what? I really need to have a daily team meeting with myself every day. Go over my leads, go over my pipeline. I need to daily do the prospecting, do the tracking, do the greatness tracker to track your outbound activity, the prospecting activity. What are 2 things that you need to do? And that's all I got. If you guys got questions, you can throw them in the chat or you can just pop off on mute. Ladies, did you have anything else to add to that? Or did you have questions for that? Do I need to clarify anything?
All good. That was great.
it's a lot and it goes by fast, but I wanted to make sure I got it in. I'll tell you the biggest thing is the measuring, right? I can't measure what I don't even know. So if you said, oh, I want to lose 5 pounds, I'm like, cool, how much do you weigh? I don't know. Like, it's kind of dumb, right? But if you don't even know, like, what's the goal? Like, I just want to close a deal or two a year. All right, well, cool. Like that means you have like, you hit the lottery or you have a sugar daddy. You got it, or a sugar mama if you're Phil, right?
Thank you, Greg.
But not,
that's awesome.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Allison, any questions? Because you've been with me a long time. You've been doing some of this stuff.
I don't have any questions. Great information. Thank you.
Cool. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, gang. Well, we'll send the recording out to everybody. I will send out those forms I was mentioning. I'll send the lead tracker, the greatness tracker, and the couple of those slides that have the numbers.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks,
Okay, you're
everyone.
welcome.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.